Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's hard for me to keep track of the days. Oh my goodness. So, this week I am talking about podcasting statistics. And no, this is not stuff that I went out and researched on my own. Honestly, I don't like statistics, but I love to read them. It's not something that I'm really seriously interested in unless it has an effect on what I'm doing. And this does because it really shows a lot. And I know a lot of you guys want to know if, podcasting is really worth it and if it's something that people are listening to. Well, you could see that I was posting, and I still am through the end of the week, posting little snippets of podcast statistics. And this is from research that I've done on the internet, of course. Let me back that up a little. Okay. And then I also found something really interesting that I wanted to share more with you about so that you can sort of decide for yourself if it's really worth it and if your message is getting out there. Now, I must say this really depends on you and your personality and, if this is something that you're really interested in. I assume that you are since you are here in this group, which I'm very excited for to get to know you. But I did some research and I want to bring you through an article that I found by someone who I would love to get on my show. His name is Jay Baer. That's Baer. And I will link up to him below this video so that you can check him out. But he put together something, and I found an article, and I wanted to just share you, not with the whole article, but damn, I should have got my water. I wanted to share with you some statistics that he had written about on LinkedIn. And it's not a whole lot. It's not long. It's only 5 of them. So I want to bring you through them and some points that I think might be really, really interesting to you, because even though I'm not a super difficult kind of person, I like to make things easy. Still, I want to bring you the facts so that you can decide for yourself whether or not this is for you. And please let me know if you're here. I'd love to know who is watching so I can, refer to you by name. At any time, give me hearts, give me likes, give me whatever. Just give me something. Okay, so this article is called The 5 Most Significant 2016 Podcast Statistics. Ooh, I'm shaking. I put you on top of something so that it would be higher. Okay, so this is actually, this is through Edison Research, where he got his information from. So through Edison Research. So the first one is podcast listening grew 23% between 2015 and 2016. And really, that's pretty big. That's a nice amount, because there are people out there who still don't even know what a podcast is. So to have almost 25% of people listening to podcasts, I think that's wonderful. It really is wonderful. Okay, so it says 21% of Americans ages 12 and up have listened to a podcast in the past month. That's up from 17% in 2015. So it went from 17% to somewhere between 23% in the following year. That's huge. That's definitely huge. Monthly podcast listenership has increased 75% since 2013. And it even shows you here. Let me bring you over to here so you can see the little graph. So that's throughout the years, monthly podcast listening. So you can see it's grown, not crazy, but within 2015 to 2016, it's grown pretty well. It's pretty cool. All right. So we have the next one. The podcast audience is bigger than you think. It really is bigger than you think. And it says the same number of Americans listen to podcasts as use Twitter. Okay, that should show you something. That should tell you something. Twitter is huge. Even though I don't use it actively, many people do. And to compare podcasting to Twitter, that blows my mind. And Twitter is something that I don't use this word need, but I know I need to get into, because this is how a lot of podcasts are found. So many podcasters use Twitter for their show, and they have seen their numbers increase amazingly. And this is one of the things on my list next. So if you are a podcaster out there and you're using Twitter, let me know. You can, I don't even know the term, tweet at me. It sounds kind of funny to me, but I guess that's something I need to get into. And my Twitter, because I'm really curious, I do get a lot of tweets back from me, and it does kind of amaze me. I haven't really tried to grow my following, but I've only got 124 people on there, but that's just from being there, just from posting my shows and not doing anything else. I have my shows automatically load up to Twitter, and they have been retweeted lots of times. So maybe that's a hint to me to get tweeting. Maybe that's a reason for you to start thinking about even starting a Twitter account and playing with it, because I know I'm going to do that. But that's crazy. The same number of Americans listen to podcasts as use Twitter. Like, wow. The podcast audience is 57 million Americans in total. And while Twitter has more members than that, many more, the research shows that their active base is on par with the overall podcast audience. Pretty cool. That is pretty cool, I must say. I'm going to try to be doing more of these types of lives with you, these articles, because they are very informative. And as I try to grow, I want to help you grow at the same time. So if there's any articles, anything that you find that you want to let me know about, please do let me know so I can check it out and teach you guys and spread the love. Okay. Podcast growth is being driven by mobility. Yes, most people listen to podcasts through their mobile phone, Android or iPhone generally. And it's crazy because I've got Stitcher on my phone, which I mainly listen to my shows through Stitcher, and that's Stitcher Radio. Love it. It is second after iTunes. And then there is iTunes, which you have the little podcasting app on your phone. If you have an Apple, it's a purple icon that comes automatically with your phone. So that's how you can listen to these shows. And I'm still getting used to looking to the mic over there. Not the mic. I'm used to saying the mic. I'm used to looking at the lens straight ahead of me, but I know I'm not looking at you. This is funny. Anyway. So yeah, the rise in podcast consumption over the past 2 years correlates with an even larger shift in how podcasts are consumed. Circa 2014, most podcasts were listened to on a computer, which restricts consumption windows. In 2016, it's a much different story. 64% of podcasts are being listened to on a smartphone or a tablet. And listeners gravitating toward podcasts on the go opens up many more opportunities for consumption, including the car, the gym, other computer-free environments. So yeah, people are taking us, I'll say us because we're podcasters, they're taking us on the go rather than sitting there and listening to a podcast on a computer. Makes complete sense. We're always going, we're always moving, we're entrepreneurs, we need to keep moving. So this is important to remember when you are creating your show, that most people are listening through their phone. And if you are just starting a podcast, if you are just starting to think about a podcast, most likely you think about that on your phone. But I have to say, people do listen on their computer, such as me. If I'm sitting here and I'm doing some work, I am usually having a podcast in the background. If it's something that doesn't require too much of attention, on the work end, then I'll have that on my computer. Okay, 5 podcasts per week is the magic number. Let me think, 5. That might be about right because I have my favorites that I like to listen to, and then I do a search sometimes to look for any other shows. And I know I'll be adding you guys in here as well as you create yours. So even among regular listeners, the appetite for podcast consumption has some practical limits. Weekly podcast listeners consume 5 shows per week on average. Yeah. Okay, this makes sense. It says, only my observation, but he finds it interesting. This is in the voice of Jay, obviously. 5 shows is the average, given that most people have 5 days worth of in-car commutes. So if they're driving, if they're on the train, where they're going, and many gym members work out 5 times per week. So they're saying a lot of people are listening to this on their commute or in the gym. So think about that. This is super important to people in those types of environments. If they're in the car commuting, if they're going to work, if they are at the gym, think of those single moms, or not single moms, but stay-at-home moms, or people like us, entrepreneurs who are at home, or we are going to meetings. If we need to listen to something in the meantime, we are most likely listening to something that is going to help educate us or make us laugh, or something that is motivational. Those are podcasts. Podcasts are there to fulfill that need. And that's why it's so important. That's why we have such an impact. And that's why we need more. We need more voices out there, because we get tired of the same shows. I know I do, and I kind of rotate the shows that I have. I'll stop listening to one for like a month, and then I'll come back and I'll binge on it, and then I find a new show in the meantime. And I mean, it's just, it keeps recycling, and I want you guys to realize that this does have an impact, and it's only getting bigger. Okay, so he says, to illuminate this podcast statistic slightly, more than 69% of weekly podcast listeners consume 5 shows or fewer. This is an important consequence for podcast producers, as new podcasts being launched today may need to steal listeners from other shows. That's us. That is us. The same way that new blog post readers from blogs have been around longer. So that makes sense too, because there's more and more coming on. There's more competition. That's more reason for you to be different, to really show your message, and to just add some extra fun into your show and be there consistently so that they know that you're not going away. And this is what I teach to those of you who are out there who are asking me, okay, maybe I want to produce a show maybe once a month or two times a month. And I say, absolutely, I don't recommend that. I recommend doing at least 4 shows a week. And that is to show your consistency, to not go away because, hey Amanda, that is because of that, what he just said. You don't want to lose your listeners from the older podcast. You want to be new. You want to come into it. You want to come into it with a bang, and you want to produce as much as you can without stressing yourself out, but you still want to be there. You want to be consistent. And I said, just like I said yesterday, persistency. Persistency creates clarity, and not just clarity for yourself, but clarity for your listeners, or for whoever's reading your blog or watching your videos or anything like that. Podcast needs to age to break through. Okay, so certainly there's room for growth in podcast consumption among younger Americans. 1 in 4 Americans ages 12 to 54 listened to a podcast last month. Okay. Let's see where I'm on it. Okay, then he lists some other things here, but nothing that's going to really help with this particular. Hi, Donna. Good morning. Okay, I'm trying to see what else in this article might be useful to you. But yeah, like, it did take me a while for me to really get going with my show. I'm going to kind of elaborate on this one a little more about podcasting needs to age. I want you to understand going into this that your show isn't going to be an immediate hit. This is not something that happens. If your blog is an immediate hit, then we would probably still be blogging. We might even love it. But it takes time. It takes energy. It takes effort. It takes consistency. It takes persistence. No one is an overnight success. No one. It doesn't happen. You hear of these overnight successes, but then you hear their stories and you realize that it took them something to get there. It really took them some work and energy, and I have to say passion. You have to put your heart into it. You have to put your heart and soul into your show. And I love to do that through the power of my voice. And I say the power of my voice because it is very powerful. And I had to come to realize that by me getting my voice out there and sharing my message as it grew, as it evolved, as it changed, everything. You take that with you. Just because you are changing directions in your business or your life does not mean that your show ends. It means that your show changes with you. We are growing. And think about that. If it stayed the same all the time, how boring would that be? And this is where content comes into it as well. As you change, your content is going to change. You're going to grow with this. And I'm sure, and I do recommend this as a podcaster, that you do listen to other shows similar to yours so that you can grab some ideas from them. I have definitely done it. It has served me very, very well. And I say to model those ideas, do not copy those ideas. Like if you hear a game that's played in a show, don't take the same game. Change it up to your own. If you're going to do like a quick fire round, a lot of podcasters do that. Change the questions, maybe change what you're calling it. But you want to take your show and you're going to start it, and it might not sound 100% perfect. I say forget the perfect, just get it out there. So that when you're, say, 10 in, or even 20 in, or 50 in, you can go back and listen to that first show and say, my God, did that suck? I know that I've done that, and my first show is still up there if you guys want to listen to it. Yeah, I wasn't completely thrilled, but I was so proud of myself for putting it out there. And 2 years later to see that I'm here helping you get there. So yes, your podcast needs to age. It needs to grow. It needs to flourish. And it will do that if you give it a chance. And I'm going to throw out one other podcast statistic, not from this article, but one that I learned very early on, and it kind of pushed me to say, that's definitely not going to be my show. And this is a statistic, I'm not sure where it comes from, but most podcasts don't make it past the 7th episode. Don't let that be you. Really remember that statistic. Again, I don't know where it came from, but I did hear this a while ago when I first started, when I was doing some research. But yeah, most podcasts don't make it past the 7th show. So that was powerful enough for me, for my own personality, to say, hell no, that's not going to be me. And I am excited to push through and show that I can do this because I'm excited and because I'm passionate about my show, passionate about my voice and about learning about myself and growing and helping others around me to grow. So, yeah, I am excited to see more and more of these amazing statistics. I'm excited to do Twitter. I really feel like I need to get on there. And I'm not saying need as I should or, I have to be on there, but I'm kind of excited to start playing around with that. I've been on Facebook, I've been on Instagram, I have a Twitter, I have a Pinterest, and the YouTube, which I'm starting too. I'm very excited for that because as I'm here more and more and I'm seeing all of my persistency pay off and my hours at my other job going down, it's amazing. I'm excited for it, terrified, excited, scared, all of that good stuff. But it's happening, guys. It is happening, and my message has just become clear, probably within the past 2 months. 2 months. In December, I was completely lost. I want you to know that. Completely lost because I had so many ideas and I really didn't know where I was headed. And that was only December of 2016. We're in March, guys. We are in March. And this is kind of where I'm taking it to the next level. I've got the offerings out there for you guys. I'm not pushing them all. This is not me. If you want a podcast, I'm here for you. I will every so often throw something out there for you guys and, make some connections and help you. I want to help you grow. I want to help you with your podcast, just like I did with, pushing Amanda, pushing Meg, pushing Jamie, helping Amy get her show out in a day. I mean, this is what it's about. It's about the passion. It's about the excitement. And I know this show was supposed to be about statistics. I did run through that, but I kind of feel like this mindset stuff and this clarity and this vision is something I'm so much more passionate about helping you guys see the bigger picture, and that there is so much more out for you if you haven't not yet figured it out. My podcast helped me get there, okay? My podcast helped me get there because I knew I wanted to share what I had inside of my head. I wanted to grow. I wanted to create this confidence that helps me make this video right here, right now for you, and then upload it to YouTube and share the F out of it. I'm excited. And again, that clarity comes with persistence. You need to persist to get clarity. You need to persist to start bringing in the money. You need to persist to start making those communication efforts with other people. Even if you are an introvert like myself, which you might not believe, but I am. I really enjoy being here behind my computer and working my ass off and talking to people and just being in my own head, listening to music, listening to podcasts. It's what drives me. It's what pushes me. And most importantly, what pushes me is you guys here listening, taking in this information, knowing that I'm helping you. Because when you realize that money isn't the go-to and your passion is, it means so much more. Because I have a job, which I was making very, very, very good money in a couple of years ago. But then when I decided, clear my throat, when I decided to step down to pursue my passion, which at the time was health coaching, I stepped down from a very comfy, cushy job, and it was I was a grocery store assistant manager. It's, different type, but we made excellent money. I was so comfortable. I wasn't worried about spending money. I wasn't worried about bills or anything like that. And then I took that scary step and I stepped down from that position, and I lost about $1,200 to $1,300 a month. And that was being a single mom. I was terrified. I've taken many, many terrifying steps in my life to push through to make the life that I want for myself and my daughter. And over the past, it's been 3 years now. Over the past 3 years, I've watched my savings decrease. And I've gotten scared. And I've gotten even more scared and more scared and more scared. And it's been such an eye-opener for me. It's taught me so many things. It really has taught me so many things. And now that I'm making myself back way up because I've got the clarity, it makes sense. It's exciting. It's not about the money. It's about the passion. It's about what you want to do with your life. Do you want to be miserable in a job or just make money? To then what? To cause all of that stress, health issues come about? I mean, there's so much to it. That's why we are entrepreneurs, because we want to love our lives, because we want to be healthy, because we want to be happy, because we want to be stable, and we want to just take care of ourselves. Wow, this has gone off on such a tangent. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I could go on forever, and this is why I have a podcast, because I can get this message out. Again, maybe I should start recording these Facebook Lives that I do in here randomly, and I could just, that's an idea. That's definitely an idea. Take what I learn and transfer it to you guys. That's what I want to do. As I talk, as I just word vomit, you can call it that, mouth vomit. Well, maybe not mouth vomit, because mouth vomit actually comes out of your mouth. Let me get this up. Yeah, as I think about all of the opportunities that are within podcasting, it's a no-brainer. It really is a no-brainer, guys. And I'm not trying to do this to push you guys. I'm just trying to help you realize that there is real opportunity here. You hear of podcasters that run their business, that is their business. Guys, that's me. That's what I am doing here. It's exactly what I'm doing. And it's exciting. I can't believe I've actually gotten to this spot. And wow, like really wow. It is growing. It has taken really a while for me to get that clarity and make all those mistakes, but I want to be there to help you get that clarity. You're still going to make the mistakes, but you need to get the clarity on what exactly it is, who you're reaching, who you're talking to, what your message is. There's so many things that goes into it, but it can be simple, because now that I see what I've done, I know I'm there, I know I can do it, and my brain has just sort of switched off from the hows and the what ifs to the whens, and really the when. Like, when is it gonna happen? This is what I'm thinking. I'm working with manifestation. It's worked in amazing ways, and I don't know. I mean, these are all of the thoughts that I now think about. I think about all the positivity in my life and all of the wonderful things. I think about all of those struggles that I've had, and that it is paying off. So going back to those overnight successes, they are not. We all struggle. We all deal with shit in our lives. We all deal with ups. We all deal with downs. We all deal with overwhelm. We all deal with every kind of emotion. And you know what? That's probably never going to stop. But as long as you're persistent and you get that clarity and you plug in your podcast, then it's all going to start to make sense and come together. And that's where I'm at right now. And I need my water. And just so you know, I always have a water next to me when I'm doing a podcast. You should have it when you're doing Facebook Lives and videos too, because that would make sense. Anyway, I am rambling on now, and I hope you enjoy my rambles, because I know I'm going to go back and watch this video and just smile at it. So thank you guys for listening. And let me know what you guys want. Let me know what you guys need. That's why I'm here. And I will talk to you guys most likely tomorrow. I'm going to try to do these lives as much as I possibly can. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful Tuesday.